And I just did a calculation this morning. You are the first one to hear that the object will come closest to Jupiter on March 16th, 2026, and it will arrive exactly.
Hi everyone, let's talk about our interstellar object visitor, comet, space junk, spacecraft, whatever the heck this is, using the latest images. We want to look in more detail and with different resolutions, and I want to show you what we see. So, the new Hubble image that was just released of 3I Atlas was taken on November 30th. It shows evidence of the two jets again, a clear anti-tail extending out to more than 60,000 kilometers, 48,000 miles. That is 10 times the Earth's radius, guys. That is a lot. And it's pointing into the direction of the sun. So let's have a look at the images first. I'll show you 3 images here. Let's start with the very bright light image. These are the same image, just processed in different ways. It was taken by the Hubble Space Telescope. If we look at the left image, it's the original image with the 7x272 exposure. If we look at the middle image, it shows the unsharp mask filter applied to the original image to sharpen its features. And if we look at the image on the right, that is for me the most interesting image. It shows the Hubble image with a filter that is called the Larsen-Sekanina filter, and that is used to detect rotational gradients in an image. So in that right picture, we see the two jets clearly. Two jets. And we also clearly see that anti-tail, which is not normal with comets, or at least with comets that we know about. We see the sunward-facing jet. The anti-tail is pointing towards the upper left corner. We've already seen the anti-tail in the first Hubble image that was taken on July 21st when 3I Atlas was first discovered. We could also see that sunward tail as well. And then 3I Atlas was going into perihelion, its closest approach to the sun, and we couldn't really see it during that time. The anti-tail during that time, and that's the interesting point, guys, seems to have reversed direction relative to the steady motion of 3I Atlas. So, let me explain this a little further. Normally, when a comet flies through space, its tail always points away from the sun. That happens because sunlight and solar winds push the gas and the dust of the comet outwards. It's like wind blowing smoke away from a fire. But with 3I Atlas, something very strange happened. When it passed perihelion, closest to the sun, its anti-tail suddenly appeared to reverse direction compared to the way the object was moving through space. So in simple words, to really make that clear, interstellar object 3I Atlas is flying in one direction, but the strange anti-tail is not following behind. Instead, the tail always points straight towards the sun, and it does not matter which way 3I Atlas is actually moving. This is not normal for a comet. Let's compare this with a car. It's like driving a car fast forward, but the smoke from your exhaust is always blowing towards the engine and not behind you. That should not happen under normal physics. So this means either the dust or the particles are not being pushed by sunlight like it's normal. Maybe something else is pushing it. But what is pushing it? Is something else causing the material to move against the expected flow? That is why scientists say this behavior is abnormal and unexplained so far, and they haven't really given us a decent explanation. Harvard professor Avi Loeb is the only one that tries to explain this, or at least points out that this is not normal. I want to quote Avi Loeb. He says, "The foundation of science is the humility to learn, not the arrogance of expertise." And yeah, we see this a lot with scientists. They say 3I Atlas is a normal comet, period. But they do not explain all these anomalies. We have 15 by now, and we're getting more and more images from amateur astronomers that are providing us with really stunning images. Look at this one. It was taken on November 28th, and you can also see the sunward direction towards the lower left corner of the image. You can also see the anti-tail and this unusually long other tail that we're seeing here. And then we can see a clearer image of the jets that was taken on December 2nd, and it was a zoomed-in brightness contour map on the right side of this image. So we also see it here. I want to clear one thing up. If we say the word anti-tail, it sounds a little bit scary, but in usual comets, we also use the word anti-tail. It's usually just an optical illusion. It only looks like it's pointing towards the sun. In reality, it does not. Let me quickly explain how a normal comet tail works. A comet is basically a dirty ice ball. It's ice mixed with dust, and when it gets close to the sun, the heat makes the ice directly turn into gas. It's called sublimation. It's not melting, so solid ice goes straight into gas, and the gas is dragging dust with it. This creates a big glowing cloud around the comet, and that cloud is what we call a coma. Then we have two different forces that basically act on that gas and that dust. First, sunlight pressure pushes the dust away. Number two, solar winds, a constant stream of charged particles coming from the sun, push the gas away even harder. Because of this, the real tail of a comet always points away from the sun. Always, guys. No exception in normal physics. And then here comes the fake anti-tail illusion. Sometimes comets release a flat sheet of dust along their orbit. If Earth later passes through that dust sheet, our viewing angle makes it look like a tail is pointing towards the sun. But it's not really pointing towards the sun in space. It only looks that way because of perspective, our perspective. It's like train tracks meeting in the distance, but they're not. This is why normal anti-tails only happen at specific viewing angles, and only for very, very short moments where you have this optical illusion. And now, probably, you already understand why 3i Atlas is different. We see these anti-tails in every image for weeks and months. 3i Atlas's anti-tail does not depend on our viewing angle, or any viewing angle. It does not flip with perspective. It does not behave like a dust sheet illusion. And here comes the most important part. It always points towards the sun. No matter how the object moves, it always points towards the sun. And that alone already breaks the rules of normal comet behavior. But guys, now it gets even stranger. When 3i Atlas passed perihelion, its closest point to the sun, the object changed its direction of motion. We talked about this. The direction of motion, as was expected from orbital mechanics, but it changed, heading towards Jupiter. We talked about this Jupiter issue, which is for me the biggest anomaly. Check the video in the end screen that I've made about this. You really have to see this. I don't want to get into too much detail in this video, because we're focusing on the anti-tail. So the object changes direction, but the anti-tail did not change relative to the sun. It did not. It stayed locked onto the sun. So 3i Atlas turns. Its flight direction changes, but the strange tail just doesn't care. It keeps pointing at the sun like a compass needle stuck on one direction. This is what we compare it with, or could compare it with. This should never happen with normal dust and gas physics. In normal comets, material always gets pushed away from the sun, never pulled towards the sun. So for 3i Atlas, scientists are left with only very, let's say, uncomfortable possibilities to explain this, if they even care to explain. So what could be a possible explanation for this? Either the particles are much heavier than normal dust, but then what are they? Or they're not affected by sunlight pressure at all, they're affected by something else. Or the material is being released in a directed, controlled way. Or the object has a very unusual surface chemistry that reacts differently to solar radiation. But here's the key problem, guys, with this. There is no known natural comet process that permanently keeps ejected material pointed towards the sun. None. This is why scientists say this phenomenon is not normal. It's not rare, it's not unusual, it's not normal at all. So this is why some scientists believe the coma might not be free-floating dust at all. The glow around the object, what is it then? It could be a swarm of solid fragments. We've talked about this in the video. Maybe it's not alone. Maybe there are chunks or fragments that broke off in some strange way, not pushed like gas, not blown like dust, just drifting on weird, unexplained paths. You know, we always want to first assume this is natural, but how can it be? What's the science behind that, right? That's the big question mark, and that plays together with the next very strange thing about 3i Atlas. I know we have 15 anomalies, but I want to, in connection with what we just talked about, mention the non-gravitational acceleration of interstellar object 3i Atlas. It sounds very complicated, but the idea is actually very simple. Normally, when an object flies through the sky, its motion is controlled by gravity only. The gravity from the sun is pulling it. The gravity from planets slightly bends its path, and with that, scientists can predict its orbit, usually very precisely. This works perfectly for planets. It works for asteroids. It also works for normal comets. Now here is what went wrong with 3i Atlas. Astronomers tracked its position very carefully over time. They calculated its path only using gravity. But then the object did not go exactly where gravity said it should go. It was slightly off. Not by much, but enough that computers clearly showed the following: something else is pushing it. That extra push is called non-gravitational acceleration, meaning the object is being pushed by something other than gravity. For normal comets, the extra push usually comes from outgassing, meaning ice turns into gas. The gas shoots out like a tiny rocket nozzle, and that gives the comet an extra small push, like letting air out of a balloon. It pushes it forward a little bit. This is known science. This is normal. This is nothing to worry about. But again, here's the problem with interstellar object, or whatever the heck it is. 3I Atlas. The amount of extra push does not match normal gas physics. It's too large. So with 3I Atlas, either the push is too smooth, too steady, too well directed toward Jupiter, we know that now, or coming from material that should not behave like gas at all. With normal comets, also, if the outgassing changes, we see a clear reaction of the tail. The brightness changes, the coma changes shape. With 3I Atlas, the anti-tail behavior and the acceleration do not line up clearly with normal gas flow. This is why I mentioned the non-gravitational acceleration, because it kind of has to be mentioned when we talk about the anti-tail. This makes a lot of scientists uncomfortable, even if they don't want to admit it. Again, the only one that speaks about it that I know is Harvard professor Avi Loeb. And now I want to tell you why this sun-locked anti-tail and the non-gravitational push together are a big deal. If sunlight pushes dust, the dust must go away from the sun. We know that by now, but with 3I Atlas, the tail is pointing towards the sun, while the object is still experiencing this mysterious extra push. And this, guys, let's make it clear, is a physical contradiction. It should not happen at the same time. So scientists are basically forced to consider strange possibilities. For example, like the object is shedding solid fragments instead of gas. Surface chemistry reacts to sunlight in a completely different way that they have never seen before. Or the mass-to-area ratio is extreme. Or its structure is nothing like known comets. I guess we can agree on that already, but here comes another critical point. Because 3I Atlas is an interstellar object, not from our solar system, that means it formed around another star in another chemical environment, with other temperatures, other radiation, other materials. So it could be made of things we have never directly studied before. So that alone makes an interpretation very, very difficult. And now I want to tell you why some scientists got even more uneasy. The motion of 3I Atlas is not only fast, it's extremely fast, much faster than anything humans have ever built, much faster than most of our solar system comets. It was moving so fast that spacecraft could not chase it. No mission could be launched in time. Only remote telescopes could observe it. So whatever it is, guys, it entered our solar system, flew through, and it will leave again before we can ever touch it. Probably. I've received a comment on my last video. The viewer said, "Well, that's very arrogant of you to say that it's leaving and then it's never coming back. It's not a natural comet, it's a spacecraft." Well, if you know that 100%, yes, it could come back, right? It could land on Jupiter and build a base there, and from there it could start surveilling Earth. But let's be clear, this object, whatever the heck it is, I'm always saying that for now we can only say it changed direction at perihelion and it's heading towards Jupiter's hill radius. We've talked about this. From there we have to see. For now, the calculated flow path from there is it's leaving. Of course, it could do a maneuver if it's not a natural comet. When this has probably been going through space for billions of years. If this was, let's say, a spacecraft when this was built, life on Earth didn't exist. So the way larger planet of interest would be Jupiter, probably. Now that they have passed Earth, they probably have recognized us, right? But still, we want to look at this thing with an open mind and not say it's this, it's that. We see these anomalies, and we're trying to find explanations for that. We can never touch it. We know that at a very high probability, and that alone feels very unsettling. And now I want to tell you why some scientists use the word anomaly. Anomaly means something does not fit inside the normal rule book of physics as we understand it today. Maybe it fits tomorrow. With 3I Atlas, we now have multiple anomalies at the same time, 15 so far. Each alone is very, very interesting. Each alone has a probability close to 0 that this happens with a normal comet. And combined, I've made a video about this. Check it here in the end screen. Combined, it's close to 0 that a normal comet would have all these anomalies. All of them together is what makes this object really strange. But let's say one thing clearly. Most scientists still believe 3i Atlas is natural, or at least that's what they're telling us. They do not claim it's artificial. Also, Avi Loeb does not claim that. He just says be open-minded and look at all the possibilities. They're looking for new comet physics, new surface chemistry, new radiation effects. But they also tell us their limits. There is no clear explanation yet. And that is exactly what makes interstellar object 3i Atlas so fascinating. We will get more data on December 19th, and in February, and in March, that maybe give us a clearer picture. Guys, I hope you like this video. Please hype it, like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more. And check out one of the videos here in the end screen. I'll see you in a second there. So stay safe from everything on Earth and from space. See you in a second. Bye-bye.